Good evening, Jai Hind, and welcome to Khan Global Studies. I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. So, welcome to the session. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Now, in the last session, we have discussed about World's Ozone Day also. We have discussed about some of the other topics, and in the today's session also we are going to discuss some of the current affairs related topics. Like, let us see that what are the main topics which we are going to discuss in today's class. Okay, first thing that we are going to discuss is about Neelakurinji. Neelakurinji is one such flower which is there in the news from time to time. It was there earlier also, and now again this Neelakurinji is there in the news. So we will again try to revise this, that what is this Neelakurinji and what is so much important about it. Okay, so that will be our first topic of discussion. The second topic, and that is a bit broader one, is about center-state relation, particularly in the context of Article 356, that is precedent rule. Okay, so you might all be aware about that this recent debate which is going on in Delhi about the resignation of the Chief Minister of Delhi, and also with respect to that precedent rule and all other things are there in the news from time to time. So we will try to cover this topic comprehensively. Then there is one more topic related with this, and that is early assembly elections. That can there be early assembly elections? What are the provisions for that? Can it be there in Delhi or not? Okay. And then at the same time, what are the rules in other states? So that is all which we are going to see in this session. Then we will also discuss about this project Cheetah. Okay. So today is 17th of September and project Cheetah is completing 2 years. Project Cheetah is completing 2 years. So we will try to understand about the cheetahs which have been introduced in India. Okay, we will try to see that, like, where they have been introduced, what are their key features, etc. That is something which we will try to understand. Okay, so let's do some questions first and then we will come back to this topic. Okay, so let's start with some of the questions. The first question which you can see here, that is about how many of the following are ozone depleting substances. Last day I have told you about this ozone layer. So here you have certain gases: chlorofluorocarbon, hydrochlorofluorocarbon, carbon tetrachloride and hydrofluorocarbons. So tell me one thing, how many of them are ozone depleting substances? This is a easy question, so I think all of you can answer it. Sachin has started answering as option C. Okay, Megha is also saying C, Astha is saying C option. Anything else? Okay. So which one is not the ozone depleting substance? Can you tell me there? Chlorofluorocarbon is there, yes. Chlorofluorocarbon is there. Option C, that is only 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So yes, that is fine. Chlorofluorocarbon is there. Even hydrochlorofluorocarbon is there. Carbon tetrachloride is also there. But last day also I told you this, hydrofluorocarbon are not considered as ozone depleting substances. Okay, but they are very much, like, their global warming potential is very much high. Okay, so this is one thing which you have to keep in mind, that their global warming potential is very much high. Okay, so yes, the correct answer here will be C, that is only 3. Okay, the C option is correct here. Now coming to the next question. Now this is something which I have told you in the last classes. Consider the following pair, the name of the cyclones which are there, the name of the cyclones according to region. So here we have one region and this is the name of that. Western Pacific, in front of it, it is typhoon. Eastern Pacific, it is written hurricane, and Northern Atlantic, it is written cyclone. So how many of the pairs are correctly matched? How many of the pairs are correctly matched here? Kyoto Protocol. Yes, Kyoto Protocol is related with the greenhouse gases. B for Bravo. Okay. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so I think all of you have revised this, or are you cheating from the last class PDF? Not cheating, na? Okay, now answers are A also and D also. Cheating not allowed. Okay, so see, if we talk about the Western Pacific, Western Pacific is the area near the Asian coast, the areas where we can see Japan is there, then South Korea is there, Russia is there, China is there, the Southeast Asian countries are there. Okay, so these are the countries which we call as the Western Pacific. Recently, we have seen a typhoon Yagi was there. The typhoon Yagi was there in the Western Pacific region. So yes, the Western Pacific is having typhoons. Then if we talk about the Eastern Pacific, it is the region of the US. So there we call it as, or the North America. So there we call it as hurricane. So this option again here is correct. So second option is also correct. If we talk about the North Atlantic, we have seen in the North Atlantic also, it is simply called as hurricane only. It is not called as cyclone. Although in the Southern Atlantic, where it is quite much rare, it is sometimes called as cyclone. So this third option here is incorrect. 1 and 2 are correct. The answer will be B, that is only 2. Okay. Okay, no cheating. Okay, good. Now, this is a question from previous week. The question is, consider the following statement about International Criminal Court. Let's see how much you are revising. Okay. It can issue advisory opinion on legal questions referred to it by UN General Assembly. Second is, it primarily focuses on prosecuting individuals for genocide. So tell me if it is correct or not. Which of the statements are correct in this case? Okay, some answers are C also, A also, okay. C, A and B. Anything else? So now in this question, it seems for some people the revision is there, some people have revised it, some people are lacking. Okay. Now we have seen this, like it can issue advisory opinion on legal question referred to it by UN General Assembly. So this first option is correct. It primarily focuses on prosecuting individuals for genocide. That second option is also correct. Both these options are correct here. Okay, you can see the cases were there on Russian President Vladimir Putin also, even on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There was a case by the ICC. There was a warrant also by ICC. Okay, so it is like prosecuting the individuals for genocides, war crimes, etc., etc. Okay, so this second option and first option are correct. Answer will be C, both 1 and 2. Okay, it can give opinions on matters given to it by the UN General Assembly. Okay, so C option is correct. Okay, Sakim has birthday. Okay, so birthday party will be there by Sakim. So happy birthday, Sakim, and he will be giving birthday party to everyone. Everyone will get one dairy milk from Sakim. Okay, now coming to the next question. Consider the following statement with respect to International Labour Organization. It is a tripartite organization with participation of all three wings of government. Next is, all the members of UN are party to ILO. And third is, India is a founder member of ILO. we should have one birthday celebration every day. So A, okay. Okay, some answers are A also, B also. C option also, okay. B option and C option are, okay. A few answers are A, that is only 3 correct. See, if we are talking about this, now see the third one, India is the founder member of ILO, that is correct. India is a founder member of ILO. India has joined this from the very beginning. So yes, this is, India is one of the founder member of ILO. You may have seen this. We have covered this in classes. That by the Versailles Treaty, there was establishment of this International Labour Organization. It is one such organization which even precedes the UN. So this is one such organization where India is among a founder member. Okay. Second thing is, all the members of UN are party to ILO. No, that is incorrect. Okay. So second option is incorrect. All the members of UN are not party to ILO. Okay. Now, this second option is incorrect. Third is, it is a tripartite organization with participation of all 3 wings of government. No, it is not all 3 wings of government. It is a tripartite organization, but it represents the businesses, it represents the employees or the labor, and it also represents the government. So it is representing 3 different things: the government, the businesses, and or means the employer and the employee, that is the labor. So that's why it is a tripartite agreement. That's first option is also here incorrect. The answer will be A, that is only 1. Okay. We have come to Mukherjee Nagar. You will find there in Mukherjee Nagar. You can see in the on Google Map also. Okay. Now, let's come to today's topic. So you can see the flower, the beautiful flowers in the background. They are the Neelakurinji flowers. Can you tell me what is special about them? What is special about them? What is so much special about the Neelakurinji flowers? Anyone? What is so much special about the Neelakurinji flowers? And where do we have this? Where we are getting these Neelakurinji flowers? 12 years, okay? $25 to 30 years. Okay, 25 to 30 years will be a very long time. Nilgiri Hills, okay? Now, see, if we are talking about this Neelakurinji flower, let us see this. Like normally, it is said that they have this blooming season. They have this blooming season after 12 years. Normally, they are blooming once in 12 years. But you will have to understand one thing. Like, it is not always a fixed time of 12 years. Sometimes it may come in 8 years also, sometimes 14 years also. So on an average, it blooms once in 12 years. Okay. So that is true that it blooms once in 12 years. That is one of the remarkable part of this flower. Now see how this goes on. Like, suppose that if there is a Neelakurinji plant, yes, it is there in Nilgiri Hills, mainly in the areas of Nilgiri Hills. So if there is a Neelakurinji plant, it grows, it flourishes, and then it has this blooming of flowers. Once the flower has bloomed, there will be some seeds which will be generated. Now, you might have read this in bio that after this flowering, there is also seeds which is there in the flowers. Okay. So once this flower is there, once this bloom has happened, then after the plant will die. the different leaves and the stems will wither away. The plant will die afterward. Okay. After this, you will find that the plants will die. Plants will die. But their seeds, the seeds will be like what you can say that the seeds will be transferred to the ground, or seeds will be there in the ground. Seeds will be there in ground. Now, after this, what we see that once the seeds are there in the ground, they take a long period in order to germinate. It's not that the plant is continuously there for 12 hours and blooms only once. The seed takes a significant time for germinating. That's why we see it in 10 to 12 years. That the seed here, it is taking almost 6 to 8 years or even more, 6 to 8 years for germination. Okay. And now see, that's why this is able to survive. That's why this plant is able to survive even during the forest fire. Like during the normal forest fire, and this is particularly found in grasslands. Like if you look at this area, we'll find that it is a large grassland type of area. So it is not having huge dense vegetation. It is a grassland type of area. And grassland are very susceptible to forest fire. Grasslands are very much susceptible to the forest fire. So in this area, there is forest fire from time to time. But this is not a plant which is there on the surface. This is the seed which is there inside the ground for a majority of time. And hence what happens that the seeds remain inside the ground. After 6 to 8 years, it germinates and then it blooms. Okay. So it is the seed germination time which saves this plant from getting like extinct or getting destroyed. Okay. So that is one of the remarkable part of this. It takes 6 to 8 years for germination from the ground. That's why it is coming out in like 9 to 10 years or 11 to 2 years. After 12 years, we have this blooming of the flowers. So that is one of the fundamental part about this Neelakurinji. Now, just see one thing, like if we talk about this, these flowers, like they can grow at an altitude of 1300 to 2400 meter. That is one thing. They are currently in full bloom in these areas of Karnataka. So it is not only just in Tamil Nadu, like one of you were saying that it is just there in Tamil Nadu. No, it is there in the area of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. This is the area where you have the extent of Neelakurinji. Okay. Neelagiri is the joining point of these three states also. So in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, you can find this Neelakurinji. Okay. Now you can see in Neelakurinji, Neela, as you can see that Neela means blue and Kurunji is basically for flowers. Okay. Now there is one thing, like IUCN has classified it as vulnerable now. It has been recently classified as vulnerable, means now it is in a threatened stage. Okay. Now it is in a threatened stage. Like see, if you see the IUCN classification, this is the area where you have least concern. This is the area where it is near threatened. And now this is the area where you have the threatened species. In threatened, we have three categories. One is vulnerable, one is endangered, another is critically endangered. Then there are some which are extinct also, extinct in the wild or completely extinct. Okay. So what we can see that this Neelakurinji is now there in a vulnerable stage, means now it has been threatened. The threat is mainly because of two things. Okay. The threat is mainly because of two things. First is the conversion of the areas, into like farming lands or other lands. Okay. So conversion of grasslands into agricultural or non-farm development. So that is one of the concern. The second major concern is the humans. Although in the first also you can blame the humans, the second is tourism. Okay. The second one is tourism. So there is very much like a rampant tourism in this area, and you know that we have this tendency that if we see some good flower, many of us have the tendency to pluck the flowers. Okay, many of us have this tendency to pluck the flowers also, so that we can bring them home or give it to someone. So due to this tendency also, the Neelakurinjis are threatened now. They are also suffering threat. Now it is not possible to like oversee the entire field or the entire area, that if people are plucking some flowers or not. So due to this tourism thing also, there is a huge pressure. There is a huge pressure on the Neelakurinji vegetation or the Neelakurinji flowers. Okay. So this is one of the first topic which we had to discuss, Neelakurinji. Okay. You can see that about 40% of the habitat has been lost. Okay. There is another threat, and that is from exotic species. Okay. Like eucalyptus and black wattle. Okay. So there is two more things. Eucalyptus is also there and black wattle is also there. They are also threatening. Non-farm development means making resorts, hotels. Okay. Making like resorts, hotels or other constructions. Like sometimes for promoting tourism, we are also providing various facilities like constructions of toilet or basic pipelines and all. Okay. Drinking water facilities. So in order to do all these things, what we are doing? We are just clearing away the forest. We are just cutting down it. Okay. So eucalyptus and black wattle plants, they are also infrastructure development, afforestation program, and even the climate change is threatening this Neelakurinji system. Okay. So that is one of the very good looking flower, but still threatened due to human activities. Okay. So that is our first topic. Now coming to the second one, this topic, emergency provision. Can you tell me like what are the constitutional articles with respect to emergency provision? Can you tell me a few of them? Can you tell me a few of the constitutional article with respect to precedent rule? Okay. The state emergency, not the national emergency. I am just talking about the state emergency, not the national one. Article 356 is presidential rule. Okay. Now, before we go into that, there is one thing like I would like to tell you. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, he said that Article 355 and Article 356, they would never be called into operation and would remain a dead letter. Okay. It was said by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar that Article 355 and Article 356, it would remain a dead letter of the Constitution. It would not be effective. It would not be made operational. But since 1950 till August 2023, there has been imposition of precedent rule or at 134 times. Okay. This one such article, which was supposed to be a dead letter of the Constitution, it has been used 134 times in the last 77 or 78 years of independence. If we talk about the time from when our Constitution was enacted, from then also you can see that in just last 74 years, we have seen that there has been use of this 134 times. So this was supposed to be a dead letter, but then it has been abused, used or misused multiple times. Okay. That is one of the context of this Article 355 and Article 356. So what does this actually provides for? The Article 355, it says that it is the duty of the center. It is the duty of the center to protect every state from external aggression and internal disturbance. If there is any external aggression or internal disturbance, it is the duty of the central government or the union government to protect the state from it. Second important part is, it also specifies that the center should ensure that every state operate according to the constitution. The state government must be operating according to the constitution. So that is the mandate under Article 355, that union government has to make sure that there is no such threat to the state government from any such external or internal challenge. It has to protect the state at all times. Okay. So now this is why it is being talked in the context of Manipur. This is why it is being talked in the context of Manipur. That Manipur is facing a continuous challenge from the last 1.5 years or even more than that. And we see that the conditions in Manipur has not been improving. It is just there on a hold mode. It is not improving. It can deteriorate at any point of time. Yes, even in West Bengal also, we have seen that there have been multiple challenges. Okay. In various other states also, from time to time, there have been multiple challenges, and it is the duty of the union to protect the state from any such aggression, from external aggression also or internal disturbance also. Okay. So that is first thing. Second thing is Article 356. This Article 356 allows for imposition of the precedent rule if the state government cannot function according to the constitutional provisions. If the state government is unable to function according to the constitutional provisions, then it is mandatory on the part of union to impose the precedent rule. Okay. So these two articles are there. Which provides for a safety for the citizens of the state, that it is the duty of union also to protect the rights of the citizens of the state. Okay. But now, what is the challenge with it? We have just seen that there has been multiple abuse of this Article 356. Okay. Abuse of Article 356. Abuse of Article 356 multiple times. Okay. We have seen that it has been used 134 times till August 2023. Till August 2023, it has been used 134 times. Why it has been used many times? Many a times it has been used by the political parties due to their differences. Like if there is a government of party X in the union and there is government of party Y at the state, so then what is being done is the X party orders for presidential rule in the states, for the imposition of presidential rule in the states. At multiple instances, it has been seen that the government of more than 6, 7, 9 states have been toppled within a few days just because of political differences. Okay. So it has been abused for political reasons. It has been abused for political reasons. So that is one of the major concern, that it has been abused for political reasons, and that's why its sanctity has been affected. It was supposed to be a sacrosanct provision of the constitution, that it will be used only in case of extreme measures. But rather than using it in extreme measure, it has been made one of the most commonly abused provisions of the constitution. Now, with respect to this, there is a judgment, and that judgment is from S.R. Bommai case. S.R. Bommai case in the 1993. Okay. So in this case, 1994. Okay. In this case, the Supreme Court has given some guidelines that when and in what instance there can be use of this precedent rule. So Supreme Court has said that the precedent rule is subject to judicial review. First and foremost thing, that it is subject to judicial review. Okay. If it is illegal, if it is based on any such malified intent, then it will be quashed also. The state government will be reinstated. At multiple occasions, as per the judgment of S.R. Bommai case, Supreme Court has reinstated, even high courts have reinstated the governments in various of the states. Okay. Like in Arunachal Pradesh in 2016, there was use of precedent rule. The judiciary again reinstated the original government there. Okay. So that is also one such example. In multiple states recently also it has happened that Supreme Court has reinstated the original government which was there. Okay. So imposition of precedent rule has been quashed many a times after this S.R. Bommai judgment. So that is the first thing. Second thing is, federal structure is part of basic structure of the constitution. Can you tell me one thing? This basic structure doctrine, from when we have started this, through which judgment this basic structure doctrine has evolved? When we have this evolution of basic structure doctrine? Keshwanand Bharti case. Okay. Keshav Nandan. Keshwanand Bharti case. You are giving short form, KBC. Keshwanand Bharti case. Yes. This was the part of Keshwanand Bharti case. Keshwanand Bharti case of 1973. This was the Keshwanand Bharti case of 1973, from where we have got this basic structure doctrine. So this has started from this 1973 itself. Okay. Now, there was another one thing. Article 356 should be used sparingly and only in cases of genuine failure of the constitutional machinery in the state and not for political purposes. Okay. And not for political purposes. So that was another part which was added by the Supreme Court in S.R. Bommai case. Okay. So that is one thing that we are just trying to revise, that what are the provisions with respect to precedent rule. Tell me one thing. Tell me one thing, like there is one question. There is a question. If a precedent rule is imposed, if a precedent rule is imposed, then what will happen? Then what will happen? Options are first. The first option is state government will be necessarily suspended. Second option is state assembly will be automatically dissolved. Third statement, there can be no formation of government before election. Code. I am writing the code on this side. First, only one. Second is only two. Third is all three. And D option is none. So you have this question, how many of them are correct? If a precedent rule is imposed, then what will happen? The first option says that state government will be necessarily suspended. Second is state assembly will be automatically dissolved. Third is saying there can be no formation of government before fresh elections. Third, now the code is only one of them is correct, only two is correct, all three are correct, none are correct. Okay, so I am getting answer all, C option. Okay, all option, only two. I am getting some answer as A also. D, none. Okay. Varsha is saying one only. Okay. Pragya is saying B. Okay. Other people? What would be the correct answer here? Only 2. Okay, so see, 1 and 2 are right, but 3 mein doubt hai, okay? Option A, second is correct, okay? Acha, those who are saying option A, which one is correct? All 3, okay? See, let's see this. If we are talking about this question, the first statement says that state government will be necessarily suspended. So yes, this is about the suspension of the government. The state government stands suspended. So that is true. The state government is suspended during this time of precedent rule imposition. The first statement is correct. There is no challenge in that. Second is saying that state assembly will be automatically dissolved. No, it is not automatically dissolved. It will be dissolved only when there is no other option. If the parliament also passes a bill that yes, dissolution is the only option, then it can be dissolved. Otherwise, it cannot be dissolved. So second option is not correct. Imposition of a precedent rule doesn't mean that the state legislative assembly is going to be automatically dissolved. So the second option is incorrect. There can be no formation of government before election. That is also incorrect. There can be formation of government before election also. If the governor thinks that now the situation is right, we can have a new government. There can be any such political party which can approach the governor that we are going to form the government. We have the majority, and they can ask for formation of government. So it is not like once precedent rule has been imposed, there will be necessarily suspension of this legislative assembly. So only option 1 is correct. The answer is A, that is only 1. Okay, I hope that is clear. See, state government is a executive. State government is an executive, and that executive can be dissolved. But the legislative is not under the ambit of the governor. Legislatures who are there, they are elected by the people. Do remember this aspect. The legislators who are there, they are elected by the people. So they cannot be directly removed. For removal of them, there must be a bill which will be passed. Those who are legislators, those who are MLA, they are not under the ambit of governor. They are chosen by the people. So they cannot be directly terminated. It can be done if the state government is saying that, okay, we are ready for dissolution. That is one part. Second thing is, if there is a bill passed by the parliament, then it can be done. Otherwise, simply governor cannot dismiss the entire legislative assembly. Okay. So do remember one thing, that it is not automatically dissolved. Okay. So government may not be there. Governor may not be there. Even CM will be there. The Council of Ministers will be there. That's why I have written suspended. That's why I'm written here suspended. Okay, so they remain suspended. Okay. So that is one thing. Now, so coming to the next, one more thing, Sarkaria Commission is there. So Sarkaria Commission has said that the imposition of precedent rule under Article 356 must be used as a last resort in situations of utmost gravity and urgency. Otherwise, it should not be used. Okay. So that is also one of the recommendation of Sarkaria Commission. Okay. Yes, they will not have any power. They will simply remain there. They will be having no such power, but they will be there. Once this precedential rule is over, they can again be acting as the legislators. Okay. Now, so that is one part. Coming to the next topic, that is early assembly elections. Like one of you were asking, what is happening in Delhi? So Delhi is one of that area. Delhi is one of the topic which has been there in the news since 2014-15. Okay, so Delhi is one such case study, or Delhi is one such thing which has been there in the news for last 1 decade. Due to the fight between the LG and the elected government, this has continuously been there. There have been 2 times when there is a question in the mains examination also from this Delhi related issues. Okay, so Delhi has been one of the famous topics. Okay, now let us see what is there. So there is a, like, it has not happened, but there is a like debate or a discussion which is going on, that can Delhi go for early elections? Can Delhi force early elections? So in that context, we are talking about early assembly elections, that what are the provisions for it? Can it be done or can it not be done? So let's see. When elections are conducted, when we have this election, so according to the provision, section 15, subclause 2 of the Representation of People Act 1951, it says that elections cannot be notified less than 6 months before the end of the term of state legislative assembly. Like suppose that if a assembly has been formed in January 2020, if an assembly is there in January 2020, so its term will be ending in December 2025. So in this case, the elections cannot be conducted here before the month of June 2025. You have to conduct elections only after the June 2025, so that by the time there is end of this tenure, a new government can be formed. Then a new government can be formed. So it cannot be before June 2025. So that is the normal case. There is a second case. If somehow the Legislative Assembly has been dissolved, in that situation, elections can be conducted at any point of time. Okay. See, it is saying that, like, suppose the tenure is from January 2020 to December 2025. So if elections are to be done there, so normally in any state across India, if elections are to be done, then it cannot be done before June 2025, because all the governments, like whether we are talking about the state legislative assembly or the union government, they have a tenure of 5 years. They have a fixed tenure of 5 years. So you cannot have elections before the completion of 4.5 months in general. But if the assembly is dissolved somehow due to any reason, then there can be early elections also. If there is a hung assembly or situation like that, it can be done at any point of time. Okay. So in that situation, there can be elections. So that is the first condition. Second thing is, when elections can be conducted, okay. Now, governor is having this power to dissolve the legislative assembly. Governor do have the power to dissolve the legislative assembly, but conditions applies. What is the condition? Governor has to act on the recommendation of Council of Ministers. Governor cannot do it, this dissolution of the assembly, on their own. They have to abide by the recommendation of Council of Ministers. Okay. The Council of Ministers can recommend dissolution of the House to the governor even before the completion of their term, and then there can be elections. So that is also one part. Governor can dissolve, but only after some conditions are fulfilled. What are the conditions? The Council of Ministers, they will recommend that yes, we want dissolution of this legislative assembly, and then we will go for elections. So that is the second condition. Then at the same time, can it happen in Delhi? Now in the states, it can happen at any time. Like for example, let us say UP. Let us say that UP is there. And now suppose that if UP elections, I think it was done in 2022 perhaps. Okay. So if there were UP elections in 2022, and if suppose it is going to happen in 2027, even in the present time, if the state government of UP thinks that we are going for re-elections, let's have re-elections in UP once again. So in that situation, what they can do? They can recommend the governor that we want the dissolution of this legislative assembly. We want early elections now. And in that situation, there can be early elections in UP also. Okay. But what about Delhi? Delhi is not a full state. It is a union territory. Okay. There is no such full state. It is union territory. Now, in that context, if even the CM of Delhi recommends the dissolution of, even if they recommend that we have to dissolve this assembly, in that situation also it will go to LG, and LG will consult whom? Center. LG will be consulting with the center, and then center can either accept it or they can deny it. Okay. So it depends entirely on the central government, will they dissolve it or not. So that is three conditions which you can understand here. Three conditions. First, we have talked about normal dissolution or normal election. Okay. Normal election. So normally elections can be conducted after 4.5 years. Only after 4.5 years. Only after half years. Okay, I have written June 2020 and then 25 now. So it should be June 2021, then only 5 years will be completed. Okay. Otherwise, if we start from January 2020, it will be 6 years. Okay. So here it should be January 2021 to January 2000 end, sorry, to December 2025, 5 years only. Okay. So suppose that the first thing is after 4.5 years, you can have a normal elections as being done by the Election Commission of India. They start election even before the end of the tenure. So that is the first thing. Second thing is dissolution of legislative assembly. Dissolution of legislative assembly by governor. So this is done on recommendation of Council of Ministers of the state. So that is the second condition. Third condition is also there. Like suppose there is a precedent rule. There is a precedent rule and it is passed by parliament. It is passed by parliament. There is a precedent rule, it is passed by parliament, and even the parliament says that now there can be dissolution of the state assembly, then also there can be the dissolution of the state assembly. So there three conditions are there. Now fourth condition about Delhi. Fourth condition is about Delhi. So Delhi is UT. Okay. It is a union territory. It will go to LG. And LG will ask whom? It will ask union government. So even if the government of Delhi is willing for the dissolution, it depends on the center. It depends on the LG whether they are accepting it or not. Okay. So it depends on it. So now we have seen that even the Delhi government has not asked for dissolution. They have simply chosen a new chief minister. Okay. So that is something which has been done by Delhi. I hope this is clear. This early election, I hope it is clear now. Is it clear now about elections, early elections? So now coming to one last topic, and that is Cheetah. Project Cheetah. So what we have seen that like Cheetah has been introduced in India in 2022. In 2022 on 17th of September. On 17th of September, we have this Cheetah reintroduction in India. Okay. So in all UTs, it will go like this, or in Delhi only. See, it is for Delhi only right now. Okay. Maybe in Jammu and Kashmir, it can be like this. Okay. Because Jammu and Kashmir has been given this UT in the form of Delhi. Rest all other like UTs, they do not have that much of like elected government also. Puducherry is having, but it is having a dual administration type system. So it is not even equivalent to Delhi. Okay. So for them, the CM even doesn't matter that much. Although it matters for the people, means in the terms of dissolution, it doesn't matter that much. Okay. Now, if we talk about Cheetah, if we talk about this Cheetah, so it has been introduced in India on 17th of September 2022. Okay, so this is like they have been introduced in India on, they have been brought from Namibia and then South Africa also. They have been brought from two countries, Namibia and South Africa. Can you tell me, Namibia was recently there in the news? Namibia was recently there in the news for what region? Namibia was recently there in the news for what region? Elephant. Okay. So yes, Namibia was there in the news for killing of elephants. It was there in the news for killing of elephants. Basically, like 700 plus animals were getting killed in Namibia. Okay. So due to which it was there in the news. Okay. Now, one more thing, if we talk about this cheetah, what you can see that it has been introduced in India from Namibia and South Africa. It has been introduced in which national park? We have this Kuno National Park. We have this Kuno National Park. It is there in Madhya Pradesh. It is there in Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh, we are having this introduction of cheetah there. Now, one more last thing. Can you tell me, there is a second home of cheetah which has been announced in India. Which is that wildlife sanctuary? Which is that wildlife sanctuary? A second home of cheetah has been announced in India. You know about Kuno, but a second home has also been announced. See, a second home has been announced. No, not in Gujarat. It is there in Madhya Pradesh itself, Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. This is one such area. Yes, there were proposals in Gujarat also, but Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is there where we are going to have this second home of cheetah. Okay, so it is there nearby only. Here you have the Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary and here you have Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. So we are going to have the second home of cheetah in Madhya Pradesh itself. Okay, yes, Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, now tomorrow again we will discuss something about cheetah and then we will discuss some other current affair topics also. So let's meet tomorrow then. Tomorrow I will be asking some questions with respect to cheetah. So prepare about it. We will discuss it. Okay. So thank you so much. Yes, Sumit, what's your question? You can simply type your question. Okay, let's ask your question in the comment. I will answer it tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you.